Uh-huh.
Hello and welcome to episode number 51 of the Nintendo Jump Podcast. We are a weekly discussion podcast created for Nintendo gamers by Nintendo gamers. It is the week of June 10th, which means we just got through E3. It was awesome. That's it. That's our show for today. No, my name is Daryl, and as always, I'm once again joined by one of my favorite people on this planet, Sergio. How are you doing, sir?
Hey Daryl, I agree with you completely. My life is just better than it was on Monday.
Completely
Absolutely.
agree. And also with us, another of our favorite people. Hey, Kevin, how you doing, man?
Doing very well. I too have been quite impressed with E3. You know, what a relief. I mean, there's so many things going on. Sometimes I forget to drink my smoothie, but now I'm good to go. And yeah, it was oh man, I'm doing great.
I'm not gonna ask on that one. I don't know. But also joining us for the first time ever, very special guest. I'm actually really excited about this. His name is Darren. How you doing, sir?
I am doing well. Thank you guys for having me.
So, Darren, I mean, we have a tradition on this show, and for anybody who doesn't know, you are known as Peachy in our Discord. Really cool guy. But we do have a tradition, and I have to put you on the hot seat for a little bit here. Darren, what is your favorite Switch game? Go.
Oh, wow. Thanks for putting me on the spot, first off.
They all go about this well.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great Switch games, some that I absolutely love, but I have to say Smash. And I mean, that's just an easy one for me.
Yeah, fair enough. So, yeah, we definitely wanted. I've been wanting to do a podcast with Darren for a very long time. But you actually have your own podcast, so I'm going to give you just a few minutes. Can you tell us about that for a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. It's called Pop Shield. It's a long-form discussion podcast about music topics, past and present. We talk about pretty much all sorts of things. A few weeks ago, we were talking about Beyonce. Just this past week, we were talking about the Velvet Underground. So we're kind of like all over the place. It's a lot of fun.
Nice.
So pretty much you're us, but for music. That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, it's really cool. Definitely recommend people check that out. But with all of that said, we have had a very exciting week. Kevin, what are we talking about today?
Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to talk about a premier trade event for the video game industry. I'm talking about the Electronic Entertainment Expo, or E3. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
you know what's coming.
That's been a few years at this point since we heard that one. Yeah. So E3. I mean, I was floored this year, and you know, last week we had our predictions episode, where we listed some things that would make us happy with this E3. I got 2.5 of mine, so yeah, there you go. I'm extremely pleased with it, as I said I would be. But I'm gonna hand it to you guys just before we really get into the real deep dive of some games that were shown off and what was discussed. Overall feelings. Darren, we can start with you actually. What was your overall feeling of this year's E3? You can leave it to Nintendo or the whole show, whatever you think.
Yeah, I mean, I was really satisfied, and just like every E3, when it comes to Nintendo, I kind of just don't know what to expect. You know what I mean? Like, you can go on and on about predicting and things, but, somehow, some way, Nintendo finds a way to surprise you. And, they were, like, doing a lot of tweets, right, about, like, different games that they were announcing, and I was like, oh my god, like, they're just getting so much out of the way. You get that Pokemon Direct and everything. What are they actually going to talk about? And, man, they just were knocking it out of the park, I feel like.
And I remember a few years ago, back in the Wii U era, they did one of these where they did a Direct like 2 weeks ahead of E3, and we all thought, okay, they're moving all these announcements into the Direct, and they're going to have a killer E3. And honestly, that E3 was kind of bad. I think, if I remember right, that was the Do the Mario E3, where they ended with 5 minutes of people dancing to Do the Mario.
Oh my god.
It was pretty rough. That was a rough year for all of us. But this year, I mean, I was very happy to say, they front loaded the Pokemon, they front loaded the Mario Maker, and really in the show they didn't talk about them that much in the actual direct, and I think it worked out. I think the show was awesome. Sergio, what do you think, man?
I agree overall that E3 was pretty darn good. Definitely the best in a couple of years. I don't know about the direct itself, though. I think a couple of trailers left some to be desired, and they definitely cleaned it up and showed the better parts of their games during the Treehouse. So overall, yeah, great E3.
Yeah, Treehouse was fire this year. Holy crap.
Yes.
And Kevin, I mean, your thoughts? What do you think?
I really liked it overall. Nintendo obviously nailed it out of the park. I was also looking forward to the Treehouse videos more so than the direct, so I was very satisfied with what I saw, especially with Fire Emblem and Animal Crossing, and just whether I'm watching it or listening to it in the background while I'm doing other stuff. I mean, it's always nice to have the Treehouse videos right up in the alley. And I really, really didn't like, now this is not Nintendo, but I really didn't like Square Enix's press conference. I thought they did a great job too.
I thought that was easily the second best.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. I mean, we were all waiting for some Final Fantasy VII Remake footage, gameplay.
And it looked fantastic.
It was amazing, yeah. And I'm like, man, I want to get it now.
We got some good Switch announcements in that show too. So
we sure did.
And then the rest of the show was kind of a bummer, but I'm not going to focus on that too much because, hey, we are a Nintendo podcast, so we can live the high life, guys. We could be happy.
There was one thing. Well, I'll talk about it later.
Yeah. We'll get to it. So obviously, I mean, there was a 40-minute direct. There were 3 days of Treehouse Live, which covered way too much. So a few caveats about this episode. One, we are not going to cover everything that was said. We're just not. We're an hour-ish podcast. I'm sorry. 2, we're probably going to get some stuff wrong. I apologize. But, what are you going to do? So I think with that, we've got a few big hitters, kind of what we were calling them. A few things that everybody's talking about. We really wanted to talk about things that we wanted to discuss a little bit more in depth, and then we'll just get through as many of the and this as we can, and we'll go from there. So I made this list. So selfishly, I put my favorite topic first, and so I gotta start the same way the direct did with Super Smash Brothers. So there were a lot of rumors heading into this E3 about we knew we were gonna get a character of some sort. We had heard rumors of a Dragon Quest character. We had heard rumors of Banjo-Kazooie, and they started with a Dragon Quest character who, honestly, kind of flopped in the West. A lot of people in the U.S. are kind of looking at that going, yeah, okay, looks like a sword user. I think he looks cool. And they just called it the Dragon Quest hero. But you can play as different skins from all the different Dragon Quest games. The moveset looks crazy. I don't know. I was pretty happy with it. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on him.
Yeah, I feel like you said it right. The character is not so much the big impact here. It's the collaboration with Dragon Quest. They're doing the best they can, and I like the character, how it has menu based attacks, or there's something with a menu.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that works.
Right. You
can change his attacks based on which option you pick from a literal menu in the game. Crazy.
I think it was a good thing. A great thing that they brought in Dragon Quest Heroes. I mean, the impact it has from Japan and just the legacy, the history of Dragon Quest. I thought maybe it's not the most spectacular edition, but I thought it was a very important addition to the already massive roster of characters. So, although for me personally, I am getting a bit tired of the sword users. I would like some more spears, maybe, I don't know, like Kane Highwind or Sid Highwind from Final Fantasy games, or actually my favorite, Freya Crescent from Final Fantasy IX. So, but,
or Crystal from Star Fox Adventures.
There you go.
With the K.
The perfect one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. But yeah, I have no complaints whatsoever for this one, so I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been it's been long rumored. We've kind of, or at least Daryl, I know you've heard about it for a long time. And people were kind of groaning from the beginning. Look, Melee introduced Fire Emblem characters, a franchise that no one had heard of in the West, right? And look where we are now with Fire Emblem. I'm not saying that's going to happen with Dragon Quest necessarily, but I'm open to bringing in franchises that I may not be familiar with at all. I thought the trailer, as most Smash trailers go, was really cool, really fun to watch. I think it's cool that they're kind of going, one step ahead of adding the different skins and not just focusing on just one character. I thought that was cool. Smash does a really great job of sort of paying tribute to the entire series and not necessarily one game, Right. So I'm excited. Yeah, it's another sword user. I totally agree with you, Kevin, on that. But I don't know. I'm stoked
as somebody
about
who plays a lot of sword users, you guys suck. Just get good, man. I don't know what to say.
Well, I do want to point out one thing that Darren pointed out, which I thought was great, is that when you have characters that you may not be as familiar with, start to get to know them better through Smash games. A great example, like you said, Fire Emblem, and even from Earthbound, when the first Smash game came out for the 64. I didn't know who Ness was, and then when after doing a little digging, boom, Earthbound. Wow, this is one of the strongest things that Super Smash has done. Being able to introduce characters, being a gateway kind of game for characters to be more known. Yes. And I think that's very important.
Yes, and there's a Dragon Quest trailer that follows up this trailer, and I tell you what,
exactly.
I was much more interested in Dragon Quest 11 after watching that Smash trailer. That's all I'm saying.
Nice. Now, I gotta say, I did get really tired of the Dragon Quest theme. The just stop. Anyways, the other thing I'll say is it's really cool. People have been kind of jokingly saying Goku for Smash Brothers for a very long time.
Yes.
It's really cool to actually have some characters designed by the artist who made Goku.
Yes, this is as close as we'll get.
Maybe. Who knows? At this point, maybe we get Goku as number 4. I don't know. But I gotta say, so Smash Brothers kind of started out as this hype train for Nintendo software back in, especially Melee. It did exactly what you said. The Fire Emblem characters got added right before Fire Emblem came to the West, and what do you know? That series did pretty well because of it, at least in part because of it. It brought a lot of notoriety to Captain Falcon and Ness, who we didn't really know at the time, and things like that. Now, what it's become now is just this massive, gaming collaboration of just everyone, and to the point that, and we'll get to the next character I am very happy to talk about, but to the point that I have literally no idea at all who the next 2 slots will be. No idea. And I don't care. It doesn't matter. And it hasn't mattered since Smash 4 Wii U when they revealed Mega Man. As soon as they revealed Mega Man, I was like, I don't care who else is in this game. This is what I wanted. And now with Ultimate, we've got Simon, another pillar, and we've got a Dragon Quest characters, another pillar, and we got Cloud, another pillar. They're building these columns. Oh, Ryu and Ken, and they're building these columns of gaming in this one game. It's just amazing to see. So I am pro Dragon Quest Hero. I'm happy to see him. I'm happy to see the series get a little bit of love here. I know Japan is probably freaking out about it the same type way we are about the next character, which I'm going to jump to right now. So at the end of the direct, so we got the Dragon Quest characters. We went through this entire crazy awesome direct, and then they show almost shot for shot a very, very similar trailer to how they revealed King K. Rool. And Darren, I'm going to hand this off to you because I know that you loved that trailer for King K. Rool. How did this trailer make you feel, man?
Oh my God, I was unbelievable. First, I was like, well, are they replaying it? I mean, they actually, you're right. It was shot for shot. It was amazing, but I was just on my feet. I knew what was coming pretty much the moment you see Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong and King K. Rool laying in there. I was like, They're actually doing it. They are actually doing this. I can't believe it.
And then you keep questioning yourself, the jigsaw piece, the Jiggy goes bouncing across the floor. You're like, oh, that's Banjo. Oh wait, it may not be Banjo. And then there's a silhouette, and it's like, oh, it's Banjo.
The fake out.
This was on my quote-unquote happy list for E3. I literally said if they showed this, it would make me happy with the entire show. Banjo-Kazooie is coming to Smash Brothers, and to me, that is more important than the character itself. And I've mentioned this before. I love this Microsoft Nintendo partnership. I was a little surprised not to see more Microsoft on Nintendo for this conference. I was a little surprised not to see Rare Replay, actually, or really anything related. There's been some kind of negative comments about the Game Pass on Switch now, but I'm not going to get too far into that. I don't really care. Banjo-Kazooie, this is a character that, by all rights, if things had gone a little bit differently and Nintendo had not sold Rare at the time, Banjo-Kazooie had to be almost a lock for Smash Brothers Brawl. So 2 games ago, this would have been the character that, if Nintendo still owned Rare, probably would have ended up in Smash Brothers a very long time ago. It is just really nice. Personally, I treated this as kind of a coming home for the character, and it was just amazing to see. And they look incredible because, of course, they do.
Yeah, no, for real. I mean, it's. I remember playing the first iteration of Banjo-Kazooie on 64, and I mean, there's just something about him that's just, the pair of characters that are just, it's just very. It speaks Nintendo. It's very charming. I mean, it's a little goofy, but in a way that makes us all feel makes it very relatable, and I think it's a great addition. And I was reading an article about it earlier and how Xbox boss Phil Spencer said that it was an easy decision for them to collaborate with Nintendo and bring Banjo-Kazooie, to Smash. And I mean, to hear that, it really strengthens the Nintendo Microsoft relationship that I wish that Nintendo and Sony could have. But I think, but no, this is another. It's a good thing. It's a great thing, and I mean, yeah, like. One thing about this that really piqued my interest is that when people are so, like, including us, when we're so hyped up about one character coming to a game like Smash, when the hype is so great, that Nintendo won this E3. I'm sorry. I mean, it is like incredible just having you can have one character create that much hype, game over. And I think with Banjo-Kazooie, that's what happened.
Yeah, and that, I mean, I can't believe I'm sitting here saying that that's not even the biggest announcement this E3.
Exactly, it's not.
So I mean, I'm gonna just kind of move on unless you guys have anything else. But just, I mean, if you can't hear it in my voice, I am super happy about this. I cannot wait to see them in the game. I will probably try to pick them up as an actual character just because I love it, and they look derpy and really awful to play against, which looks awesome. Anyways. I do like the smash attack where Banjo just smashes Kazooie on the ground. That looks amazing. Anyways, I'm going to move on. So, and with this, last week we put out the call for listener voices for this email. So some people actually did submit some voice recordings to us about E3, what they thought, their own reactions to it. So we're going to listen to our first one right now.
Hey guys, it's Alex, aka Coconut. And hands down, my favorite part of Nintendo's E3 was definitely the Animal Crossing reveal. And it was definitely a bittersweet moment when you saw the March 2020 date at the end. And part of me even wanted to curse Sergio's name at that point, because while he did flip-flop his predicted release dates for Animal Crossing a couple times, there was one that he stuck to for like a week or two. And I remember it because I was upset when he said it, because it was March 2020. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, dang it. Sergio single-handedly caused Animal Crossing to delay to March 2020. But all jokes aside, the game looks great. Maybe it needs more polish. Maybe they're going for a more simple style. If they released what they showed today, to me, I would be happy. Like, I would be happy. I think I'm kind of starved for new Animal Crossing content. I think I'm kind of desperate, and that's probably playing into why I'm so accepting of taking something that may or may not be completely finished. But yeah, that was my favorite part, and I could go on and on about all the details that I saw. But I watched it with a good group of friends, and that was a fun time. And of course, Luigi's Mansion, Link's Awakening, and the Breath of the Wild sequel. I'm sure everyone else is going to say those two. But yeah, that was a good E3. That was a good E3.
All right.
Cool.
So there you go. Now, Sergio, I know this was your one item on your happy list. So I'm just going to turn the floor over to you. Sergio, how did you feel after this?
Oh man, bittersweet is the perfect word, and let alone the release date. Like that was a moment of its own. But looking at the trailer they showed during the direct, I don't know. I don't think that was the best trailer they could have shown. Honestly, I don't know if it's badly rendered or like Coconut said, the game just needs some visual polish. But the game didn't look that good. They didn't do a very good job of showing you that this is basically a full Animal Crossing game with a lot of cool additions. It kind of made it look like, honestly, my first thought was this looks like a mobile game on a console, and I don't
Ooh,
know how
oh
I feel
no.
about this. Yeah, I was really, really thrown aback. I supposedly recorded my reactions, but I was silent all the time. I was so
Oh
confused.
no.
And yeah, the release date, like Coconut totally said, I went back and forth all the time, and that day I was sure on December, and it wasn't. And honestly, what I wanted the most out of when they showed Animal Crossing was for all of the silent treatment that we got from Nintendo to make sense. And based on what they showed, I think it does make sense. I can see why it took so long to show, and I can see why it's gonna take so long still to come out. And like Coconut and a lot of Animal Crossing fans, I'm willing to wait. It would be nice to have it now the way it is. It's good, but it's just gonna get even better.
I've never played an Animal Crossing game. I've watched people play. Through the trailer, and even though it wasn't the best they could have done with what they had, but I still, listened to the Treehouse video of it several times in the background and watching it the same, at different times, and I'm excited. I would like my own island and have like create a town and just populate the island with different things, and I'm just excited. So I pre-ordered it yesterday,
Nice,
and
excellent.
so I'm in. I'm 100% in. I do agree with what you said, Sergio, about how, like I said, excuse me, like you said, it maybe it didn't look the most polished, but you know what? I'm sold. I'm ready to play. I'll be ready in March. But I should have made my prediction for March. I said January. I was very keen on having, different low key national holidays for every single day. But this is still pretty cool, and I don't mind waiting until March. So, but again, I'm coming from an outsider's point of view. I never played an Animal Crossing game in my life, so this will be the first for me, and yeah, I'm excited.
Nice, and like you said, to outsiders, to anyone not too familiar with Animal Crossing, even of how the games sort of develop and evolve a little bit each time, there are here already a couple of really game changers. The biggest one for sure being the crafting system. They're
Mm.
basically adding something to Animal Crossing that hardly anyone expected. A lot of us kind of wanted something like Harvest Moon. Combined with Animal Crossing, but instead we're getting like a little bit of Minecraft thrown in, and it looks really good. It makes a lot of sense, especially because it's gonna add so much replay value. So I'm curious, Daryl, how do you see this Animal Crossing game?
Okay, so I will answer. First off, Darren, have you played Animal Crossing? Are you hyped about this?
So I actually haven't. A major blunder of mine is missing out
Yeah,
on the
so this
Animal
is this is
Crossing
three versus one
series.
here, Sergio.
Yeah, but I will say I really fell in love with Stardew Valley on the
Oh,
Switch,
okay.
and I imagine that this series has kind of got a similar feel to it. So I'm actually excited for it. It's unfortunate that I'm gonna have to wait longer, but I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, so I said before I'd be shocked if it didn't come this year. I actually am a little shocked. Now, having seen it, it makes sense because, to be honest, it kind of looks a little bad. I don't think
Yes.
that they've got the lighting right. I don't think they've got the textures right, and they've got 10 months to fix that. Okay, that's fine. I'm
Right.
not worried about it. So what I'm finding interesting is you're kind of downplaying a little bit of the initial trailer. I watched the initial trailer and went, "Oh, that looks cool. I get it. I get what they're trying to do." To be honest, this is a game I'm going to buy because my my wife wants to play it.
Nice.
It's not probably not a game I'm going to play. That's okay. I'm all right with that. Uh, but I gotta say, so they showed some things in this trailer that I did not expect them to do. For instance, you are completely building your village from ground up.
Yes.
You are completely designing everything. They showed a little montage where the character plants a tree sapling and with some flowers around it or something like that. And then later on in the trailer, they show that same area, and that tree sapling has grown into a giant tree with the flowers around it, and you can tell exactly what happened there. I'm like, well, that's cool. Also, this like uncharted island that people then start coming to. Also, in the treehouse segment, they showed the Nook Miles, so there's going to be some sort of like Air Miles card system in this game where you can fly somewhere. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But I got it, and I got what they were trying to do. I actually thought it was the most appealing Animal Crossing has ever looked to me. So maybe a little surprising to kind of flip-flop on that a little bit. But hey, I mean, it there are a lot of people who will be extremely happy with this game, and I feel very confident on that. They have to wait a little bit longer. Sorry, guys. What that does mean is that Sergio will get to play Pokemon with us, so there you go. I was a little worried. I was a little worried that he would never play Pokemon, and there we go. So I mean, I think that's what I got for Animal Crossing.
I think another thing, too, I really liked some of the little touches they made, especially with the game clock being linked to both northern and southern hemispheres. I actually really like that a lot, just because it's very considerate of them for doing that, because there is the other side of the world that we may not be as familiar with, how they have winter.
Oh, there's not.
No, well,
everybody celebrates Christmas on the same day. Come on,
all
man.
right, okay. Well, maybe to you, maybe to you, but but I think it's great to have that sort of touch in the game. And as what Darren mentioned, Stardew Valley, I have my first playthrough on Steam. Man, I had some emotional investments in that game, especially with one particular fellow, Haley. Man, she was I don't know. I would have days where I would talk to my housemates about what this person has done to me, how she doesn't dance with me in the game, and I'm just like, man, and I was so heavily emotionally invested.
Dude, she's a man eater too. That's terrible.
Yeah, and then I'm like, why did I choose this person to romance? I just did not get it. It really bothered me. And
well, luckily you shouldn't have that problem in Animal Crossing, at least.
Yeah. No, and
I doubt there'll be any relationships.
I want to find.
You don't know.
Yeah. I want to find someone like a Leah. someone who's just low key outside of town, a sculptor.
That's my girl. That's my girl in Stardew.
That's what's up. A sculptor. Just that's the person that I want to have in a video game. For me, so
this is getting awkward in a hurry, so I'm gonna move on.
I said okay, but my point, just to wrap it up, my point is that I hope that Animal Crossing can give me that same heavy emotional investment that I had for Stardew Valley, and that's all I have to say.
Yeah, Haley is apparently not in Animal Crossing, so we should be good.
Well, I mean, hopefully no one like her.
Oh, all right. So I think that's gonna wrap us for Animal Crossing. We're gonna move on to our next listener submissions.
Hello, this is Napping Rat, and I'm just bookending my E3 wish from last week's podcast to say how happy I am this week. The big news is that the Mario Maker team has announced online play with friends is coming in a post-launch update. While it obviously would have been nice to have that feature at launch, I was a little bit afraid that this would become a permanent unfortunate aspect of Mario Maker, similar to the unskippable 30 seconds of Pearl and Marina dialogue whenever you open Splatoon 2. Every time. That's one of those weird Nintendo things that seems reasonably fixable, and almost everyone is disappointed by, at least from what I can tell here in the US, but it just never gets changed. I'm expecting that this will be updated sometime before December 31st, and therefore Mario Maker 2 is the game of the year of the rat. I'm so excited. Maybe we'll get more game styles like Game Boy Mario Land 2 or Mario 64, maybe not. Although I don't need any more of those in order to be completely happy. It's going to be great. A straight port of the Wii U Mario Maker would have been enough to get me excited, but this is even better.
Awesome. As y'all have known from before, I did not want to get Super Mario Maker 2 in the very beginning. But after some convincing from
peer pressure
and, skimming through the Super Mario Maker 2 Direct, getting called out for it, and then watching the Direct, multiple times after we recorded.
Good for
and,
you.
and yeah, and I was like, I'm gonna get this game. And then watching the Treehouse Live videos, obviously, I'm very very convinced that this is a game that I want to be playing for a while. And the one thing that I share the same excitement with Napping Rat is that when we watched that invitational tournament for Super Mario Maker 2, like the co-op was just it. That's what was the selling point for me. I just love the way they were, like was it like the competitors? They were just working together, trying to go through the level and just being very innovative with the pals and the on and off switches and man, it was just great. And the hype was like I was at the edge of my seat. I'm like, man, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? I don't know. But
it came down to the wire too.
Yeah,
those freaking icicles.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, man, it was amazing. And so I was like, okay, pre-ordered, done. So
nice. Welcome to the world.
Yeah.
So is everybody here pre-order or at least getting this game?
Yes, I will be.
I definitely am.
Getting the vouchers too.
All right, so we're all for in. I said it before. I honestly think if you're talking essential Nintendo games, like games you must have, play, whatever, especially those on Switch, this has got to be on that list. It's got to. This is if you never got a chance to play the first Mario Maker on Wii U, I'll say I'm sorry you missed out, but this one looks better in every way. So, goodness. And now that they've actually come out and they're saying they're going to fix so you can actually play, you can play online with your friends. I don't know why that was ever even a question, but whatever. But now that that's actually going to be fixed, this makes it a no-brainer for me. It already kind of was even without that. Yeah, I'm going to be, man, I really, really enjoyed making levels in the last game, more so than I thought I would. So I'm really looking forward to that aspect. I'm going to try to make some race levels and challenge some people in our Discord to run through them and such. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a very strong candidate for my game of the year.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I played Mario Maker 1. I didn't get into the level building quite as much. I was just really interested in playing all the other levels in this game. Like, honestly, like the listener mentioned, they could have just ported Mario Maker 1 and I think we'd be pretty happy with it. But for them to just go above and beyond, like basically enhancing every aspect of the game and adding in co-op and all that stuff is just truly amazing. And I'm excited to dabble with some of these tools, but really after watching that invitational, I'm like, I want to play that course. I can't wait to download all these people's courses online and get to play them. Like, and it looks like they've really fixed that whole searching for courses situation where you can kind of choose I want one of those auto play or auto run courses, or I want this or that. Like that's huge. You know what I mean? Because like Mario Maker 1 kind of got really difficult to find what you were hoping for to be like the best courses. You know what I mean? You remember that, Daryl?
Oh yeah, it was really obtuse if you didn't know certain people that you looked for. I mean, the best thing you could do in Mario Maker 1 was like follow certain creators that you liked, but you pretty much just found levels through like the random level system, the 100 Mario challenge and such, and you had to play through a lot of really crappy levels to get to the ones you actually liked. So because turns out, I mean, not everybody's a really good level designer. Who knew?
Imagine that.
Yeah. So I've said before, Mario Maker is kind of a streamer's dream, but honestly, I cannot wait for what our Discord becomes once this game actually hits, because people are going to be sharing levels all the time. There's going to be dedicated channels, all sorts of things. If you're not there, please join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. But so that, we've talked a lot about Mario Maker. It's coming out in just a couple weeks at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to another thing that we were a little unsure of coming into this Direct, and that was Fire Emblem Three Houses. So Sergio, you want to kick this one?
Yeah, and my only concern with Mario Maker 2 is actually Fire Emblem Three Houses coming out, in about a month after it. So I can already see myself shifting over to Fire Emblem, and the reason for that is because, like you said, when they finally got around to showing gameplay during the Treehouse, Oh man, it looks good. It looks polished. It looks like what I wanted to see in the direct itself and in the one from February. I've been wanting to see the Fire Emblem gameplay shine like it did in the Treehouse. So, oh man, this game is looking really good. I know for sure you were very interested in the story, and it looks like they got that part perfectly right too. So this is looking like a really good Fire Emblem game. Kind of, personally, kind of out of nowhere, and I'm super excited about that.
So I mean, to be fair, the last trailer they showed was all focused on this school thing. It was basically Hogwarts Simulator 2000, right? Uh, and there was a lot of uncertainty about what is this game actually going to be. Now they've really colored in some stuff. At some point, you have trained up your students, and then there's this 5-year time skip, and then you're embroiled in this like crazy war and stuff. And with these students that you've trained up, so you developed these connections to. Apparently, from early reports, the story is actually really good. The gameplay looks like good Fire Emblem gameplay. Yeah. I mean, for me, I never ever questioned the gameplay, period, because I really trust Intelligent Systems. I think they're a great developer. I don't know. I think for me, I really wanted to see some of the story. I think they showed a lot of it, and they showed it really well. And I was very happy coming out of this presentation. Not everybody was, but even out of the direct, I was really happy about the game.
Well, as you all have known in the previous Final Fantasy, Fire Emblem Direct, I was not that impressed. I was not. I was disappointed. I was kind of angry, but not too much. But seeing what we saw at E3 and with Treehouse Live, bless your hearts, it got me back into the excitement. Just watching, the Treehouse Live and how they were showcasing how you're able to train your students. You can either force them to be the sword or spear person, or they could be maybe a bow and arrow, or a Pegasus Knight. And that's, goodness gracious, and the gameplay, man, as what Sergio said, I will never get tired of watching the animations between battles when you encounter an enemy and it goes into this really like animated sequence, and goodness, it looked really nice. And I pre-ordered it. I gotta say, I was like, man,
this is gonna be a trend, I think. Yeah.
I tell you right now, you guys probably know I pre-ordered some games. I've pre-ordered some games, and this is one of them. So I did. I'm proud of it, and I'm ready to go. I do want to point out one thing though. There was a tweet from the official Nintendo America Twitter account that talked more about the one thing that I'm a little mixed about. It has to do with permadeath, but they call it Divine Pulse. Basically, you're able to, clean up the mistake that you made by going, maybe a few moves back, just to, prevent your character from dying or whatever, so you don't face the permadeath. I think that's a nice option to have. And, shout out to GameSpot for the article that I read this about, and for hearing it in E3 in general. But I am not going to use it. I will not use Divine Pulse.
All right, so we're getting back into for we haven't brought it up for a while. So if you haven't heard this, I don't blame you. We have a pact going for this Fire Emblem game, and I was very happy to see a few things come out. One, there is permadeath. Two, there are standard difficulty levels and such like that. So we have this pact going that we think that the correct way to play a Fire Emblem game is just to play it on classic mode, normal difficulty, and if somebody dies, let them die and just feel it. Like, just honestly, move on. Don't restart the level. So this little turn back time thing, no, I'm not using it either. It's not part of it. I'm just gonna move on, and
it's not real life, right?
Yeah, exactly. The fact that my character has taught these people everything that they know, and then they're gonna die on the battlefield. Yeah, that's gonna be fun to deal with. But we're still doing it. So we've got some time before the game comes out. We're gonna talk about that a little bit more as we go. But I was happy to see that it, we didn't actually know what format this game was going to be in, so we didn't really know that it was going to be possible. It's going to be possible, so yeah, it's on. We're on.
Darren, for sure.
Darren, what's your history with Fire Emblem? You like these games?
Yeah, I watched one of the gameplay streams from Treehouse because I was really interested in it. Kind of like you guys, I was kind of just unsure what we were looking at, right? And I was so blown away at like the sheer like depth this game offers, right? I mean, the fact that you can just spend hours and hours, lecturing and visiting with your students, and there seems to be so many students to like work with and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can like skip along and just have it auto do it, but like you're gonna like want to sit there and like focus in on every single character, and to do all that outside of combat just seems incredible. Like this game
that's
just
really
seems like
cool.
you're gonna spend a lot of hours on it. Yeah.
All right, so I mean, I think we're gonna be talking a lot about Fire Emblem as we get going. It's a little painful, but I think we need to break away and keep moving forward. So, we're actually gonna jump into. We've got 2 brand new listener voices. We've never heard these voices before. They didn't submit them last time, and I'm very excited about it. So we're gonna play 2 of them back to back, and then we'll come back.
Hey guys, this is Dragon, and I want to say that Nintendo actually did a very good job at E3 this year. They knocked it out of the park. The 3 main highlights were, of course, Banjo and Smash, which we all know and loved, but we never actually saw coming. We have Breath of the Wild 2, which is utterly amazing. It's going to be a much darker take on the Breath of the Wild storyline. And we have the reveal of Animal Crossing, New Horizons, which I'm actually very happy about, and I hope Sergio is too. So one of the things that really spoke to me and I'm really excited about is the new not actually new, but it's returning from Dark Moon, the Scraper mode in Luigi's Mansion 3. This mode is going to be very exciting because they confirmed in Treehouse today that there's going to be actually 9 different varieties of objectives based in this mode. So we've seen in the trailer that one of them is going to be a normal Ghost Hunter mode, which we've had before. But we also have a Toad escort mission where the Toads are going to be running around wailing if they get attacked by a ghost. We're going to have to catch them scurrying around. It's going to be hilarious. And this mode actually employs up to 8 players online, which is actually kind of crazy. And it's just going to be... it's going to be like separated into 2 halves where 4 people are the main colored Luigi's, and 4 others are going to be the Guigi counterparts, which is going to be it's going to be interesting because I'm wondering if the Guigi counterparts will be able to do sort of slip into the spikes and the sort of obstacles that only they can go through. If that's going to be employed in line in this team-based sort of co-op mode, but I don't know. It's just going to be great, and I can't wait to play it with everyone. Thanks.
Hi, this is Rebecca, aka Beckzilla, aka Mrs. Duck. Nintendo's E3 was excellent, even if they didn't have any info on Pikmin. Of course, I'm most excited about the sequel to my favorite game ever, Breath of the Wild, but Luigi's Mansion 3 looks sensational too. Every choice Nintendo has made to this new title seems perfect, from adding co-op and additional controls to making incredible style choices. Dark Moon was one of the first games I played to completion, so I'll definitely be playing this day one. Also, is Sergio okay?
All right, so Sergio, answer the question. Are you doing okay, man?
Oh, yeah, like
You still living?
Way better every day.
We got a little worried about you for a little while, so that's where that question came from. So we are currently on a podcast, I think, with probably the prominent member of the Luigi fan club. I think probably the biggest Luigi fan I have ever seen in my entire life. Darren, I'm gonna let you kick this one off. What do you think about Luigi's Mansion 3?
Man, I'm so excited, right? Like my love for Luigi is just incredible. I don't even know how to explain it. I see Mario Tennis dropping like 30 something characters all the time, and I'm just like, you know what, Luigi. I'm just gonna be Luigi. Every game, any game that comes out, it's gonna be Luigi. And I get a new Luigi's Mansion game, I cannot even express how excited I am. It doesn't even matter what's in the game. I'm just excited to get to play as my man Luigi, who totally got, shafted in Mario Odyssey, being this like balloon guy. That's all you get. I mean, come on, you can't even play as him. Come on, guys. Anyway, Luigi's Mansion 3. I mean, I think you guys agree. It looked really great. Looked really far along, actually. The gameplay seemed really fun. I think one of the things that wasn't really mentioned, but it became sort of obvious, is that this game has quite a bit going for it. Luigi's Mansion 1 was on the shorter side of things. Dark Moon I wasn't like a huge fan of. I actually only played a little bit of that one. But this one looks like a real like return to form. I love that they're adding co-op. My children play these types of games, Mario types of games. So I'm like really excited to get to play this with them.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go last on this one. Sergio, what do you think about Luigi's Mansion?
So I don't know if you guys do this too, but there are a few games that when you see that it's out and you see a little bit of it, you're done. You're guaranteed a purchase, and actually, you don't want to look more because you want to savor it in the game itself. This is the one for me. Luigi's Mansion 3. Even from the last direct, when they showed it, I was sold already. I didn't watch the Treehouse segment, so the only details that I know about is from Dragon's Message, and it's sounding just like what I expected. Crazy, fun
8
multiplayer
Luigis,
action. Man, that is crazy. And Guigi for Smash.
Yes. Do it.
Kevin, what do you think about it, man? Is this on your pre-order list yet?
You know what? I'm just gonna preface by saying this, and do not put your pitchforks on me just yet.
Oh no!
I have not played a Luigi's Mansion game. I am so sorry. I've not.
Oh, that's okay.
And
that's okay. They're kind of obscure, to be honest. I mean, they are the main titles. Like one of them was a launch title for GameCube. One of them was this 3DS title. But I don't know. They're by definition they're kind of a niche title.
Oh,
so...
Okay, Daryl. All right. You want to play Smash later? You want to play Smash later? Come on.
So. Look, I'm sorry, but when GameCube launched, the first question everybody had was, "But where's Mario, though? But where's Mario? Why are you giving me this 6-hour Luigi game? I don't want that. Where's Mario?" And I say that now because I loved the first game. I loved it when it launched. I still love it. I still have it. It's great. But it is not. It is not Mario Sunshine or Galaxy or Odyssey or whatever you want. It was never going to be that game. It's going to be this smaller, funnier, kind of self-contained story. It's always been there, and I love it for that. I love what they've done with that series. And I'll say this. So I did not expect this at all. One, this was a known quantity. We knew it was coming. We knew a little bit about it, seen a tiny, tiny trailer. Didn't even know who was developing it. Turns out it's Next Level Games, who made Dark Moon, which is kind of, to your point, kind of a negative for me, but whatever. I can move past that. But this game, and I'm serious right now, this game was the game of the show for me. Really.
Ooh.
This game was the hypest game that they showed. And don't get me wrong, like a certain trailer and the Smash trailers and all that, great, fantastic. I loved them. But as far as a complete game, they showed this one off the best. And if you're not sold on this game, if you're listening to this and you're sitting there going, I don't know if I'm going to pick it up, and it's Luigi, who's that guy? I'm so sorry. I got to poke
You're
a little bit.
You're doing this on purpose. It's fine.
Yes, I am. If you're listening to this and you're like that, watch the Treehouse segment where they actually play the Scarescraper mode. They play it 4-player, and they're going around this hotel. It's procedurally generated levels or floors of the hotel with different objectives and stuff, as Dragon was mentioning. It's the best Treehouse segment I think I've ever seen. It's fantastic. What Dragon brought up is true. If you've got 8 players, 4 of them are Gooigis who have different properties, and that actually comes into play. So you're going to have to work together to do certain things.
Nice.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I am so excited for this game. The only question I had is why this game looks more done than practically any game that they showed. So why do we only have a 2019 date on it?
I'm with you there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's some things that they just want to iron out, or I feel like they have a polished game already, but they want to add more, and maybe there's some kind of conflict to see whether they can add it in time. So they still have a 2019, but it could be fall 2019 or holiday 2019.
Yeah, I mean, have they announced anything for like October? I mean, I feel like this game is kind of like perfect for that.
Nintendo themselves, we kind of noticed this in the Discord and had a comment about it. Nintendo themselves didn't announce any dates past September, period.
Right.
The only ones we know about, well, that's a lie. Animal Crossing was one because they literally had to, because there were tons of very happy-looking people with pitchforks outside their door.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Animal Crossing was one, but then that was the only one. We know Pokemon is coming in November, but Game Freak told us that, right?
Right.
So that was kind of, in my opinion, their decision. And we know some other things speckled here and there that are not Nintendo-driven games. For everything else, Link's Awakening is, I think, the latest one that we know, and that's the end of September,
Yes.
the 20th. So I'm kind of with you on that one. I'm kind of pinpointing this right around the Halloween time. That just kind of feels right to me.
Very appropriate.
I hope so. The sooner the better on this game. I cannot wait to play with people.
Yes.
Yes. Let's get an amiibo too. Come on.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh man, it would be awesome. And what is that character? Is it Guigi?
Guigi, who is
Guigi.
mildly unsettling to look at always.
Yes.
Like every time he was on screen, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
It's rather odd.
So I have to say, I have not, as I've mentioned before, I've not played a Luigi's Mansion game, and after watching the footage, I immediately regret it. So for my next pre-order, I haven't pre-ordered yet. It will be Luigi Mansions 3. I'm saying it right now.
There you
my
go.
My next pre-order will be Luigi Mansions 3.
Hold him to it, guys.
I'm holding it to him.
You will.
I want to see that receipt.
Guaranteed.
I want to see the long form receipt. Don't give me that short form crap. I don't want the credit card stub. I want to see the full breakdown.
The legitimate where I bought it.
I want to see a store. I want to see the
Store
title.
number.
I want to see a SKU and a price.
Cashier's name.
Yes.
Well, I can tell you right
Time
now.
of purchase.
The store's gonna be, sometimes you just have to make the best buy.
There you go.
I still have some time with the GCU, as you all know, a very good thing to have. Although they discontinued it from last year, right? I don't know, was it last year? I'm not sure, but
Yeah, somewhere
but
around there.
I still have a couple months before it expires, and within those couple months, I will pre-order Luigi's Mansion 3.
There you go. So yeah, like I said, probably easily the game of the show for me. Just every time it was on screen, it looked amazing, and the portrait ghosts are back, which were the best part of the first game, and probably the biggest omission from the second game. Some of them look fantastic. That little movie sequence that they showed was incredible. I'm not going to spoil anything because it looks awesome. More of that, always. So I'm gonna skip over to another game we actually knew about. We knew it was gonna be at the show. We knew what it was, and that was Link's Awakening. So, first off, I don't have that much to say about this game because they didn't reveal all that much new. I thought we might get a multiplayer of some sort. There were some rumors maybe about, there was that Link to the Past rumor floating around for a little while. Things like that. We didn't really get any of that. So as of right now, this looks like it is just a fairly strict remake of Link's Awakening, and honestly, I'm okay with that. And I think the game looks really, really good. The art style is one of the cutest things I think I've ever seen. The amiibo that they've got with it, I've already pre-ordered.
Yes.
Wait, there's amiibo for it already?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It looks exactly like Link in the game. Yeah. So
cue that.
Get on that. Get on that. So
I need to. Oh my god.
What they showed off. The one thing I want to say is every time anything was on Treehouse, for whatever reason, I guess they had a station of Link's Awakening like right behind the camera or near the microphone or something like that. So like, for example, they would have like a section of Astral Chain or something on screen, right? And there'd be kind of a lull in the action of the brutal action of Astral Chain, and it's on screen, and it kind of gets into a loading screen or something like that, and all of a sudden I start hearing Link's Awakening coming through. I'm like, oh, there it is, that's it. So that was nice. But yeah, I don't have that much to say. Sergio, you got something on this though.
Yeah, the reason for that is because, like you said, the game is looking amazing, but more so than that, it's sounding really good. Like they actually went. It sounds to me like it sounds to me, huh? Get it? It sounds to me like
I get
they went in they went in and actually work on the sound a lot. They are adding a lot of little sound effects and really refining the music from the original. So, like you said, if we had a multiplayer game that was very heavily rumored and in a way it was kind of expected. So what they did add, I wasn't expecting.
No.
It's like a little Zelda dungeon maker, not to the full extent, but honestly, I think this is gonna be the trial for something like that. I think eventually we're gonna see a full-on Zelda dungeon maker, and we're gonna remember this remake for that. It's already looking like a lot of fun. You get different pieces, different little dungeon rooms. You can set up the dungeon the way you want. It has to work, of course, and then you can share with others for speedruns. That sounds so cool to me. I was not expecting that. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, Link's Awakening is one of my favorite Zelda games. One of the first Zelda games I played to completion.
Oh, nice.
Back on my Game Boy Color, way back in the day. I got the DX version or whatever. But don't kill me for this, but I am like not super duper excited about this remake just yet. I like what I see. I think the art style is cool, but there just hasn't been something about it yet that's really like blown my mind or made me feel like I've got to get this. Of all the Zelda games that could have been remade, you think about maybe Ocarina, Link to the Past, something like that. I would have been really interested in one of those. Awakening, cool. I love the game, I really do. But I just don't know. I'm not quite there yet.
I share the same sentiments with you. I just, I did play Link's Awakening DX on Game Boy Color as well, and and even to completion. I mean, it was definitely one of my I would say top five games in the Game Boy Color for me. But just from the previous episode that we talked about with this, I'm very mixed. For a $60 price point, I can understand. I just don't know if I'm willing to shell that out at the moment with the pre-order. Not yet, given my pre-order shopping spree for the past few days, and a public promise for Luigi's Mansion 3, which I definitely will get. It's pretty tough. I don't know, just so many. But I do like the art style. I think it is very charming, and it has Nintendo written all over it. I mean, it definitely is the cutest Link I've ever seen in my life. I mean, there's no comparison. But I'm with you. I don't know if I'm gonna get it. I don't know. But it's conflicting for me. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.
Daryl and Sergio, is this the best Zelda game to remake right now?
To argue to the point that yes, it's a fan favorite for those that played it, and a lot of people that haven't played it. It's a very good opportunity to introduce it to them. Honestly, it's my second favorite Zelda, so I love it.
Fair.
So
yeah,
I'm gonna come from a kind of different point of view. I am not a huge fan of the original. I love the music. I love the setting. I love the story a lot. I don't like how it plays for a bunch of reasons, like little stupid things, like there's no way to swing your sword in the lower right quadrant around your character. It's little dumb things like that, but it just kind of bothers me because there's always seems to be a bat or something down there. It's annoying, and there's a lot of that in that game. It's just annoying. That said, I haven't played that game in a decade and a half, probably. So. I mean, at this point, the game is 25 years old, and has not really seen life since the Game Boy Color release, which I did not play. I only played the black and white one. Yeah, and
missed the color dungeon.
I completely missed the color dungeon. So,
man,
I think to the question, is it the best one they could remake? I think it's the most deserving, to be honest. In the same way that Metroid 2 I thought was deserving for a remake. It really needed it. Yes. Actually. You could argue, man, I would love to see Zelda 2 Link's Adventure. I just don't think that that's actually gonna happen. I would really like to see a remake of that one. But other than that, Link's Awakening I think is the most due. They just had Link Between Worlds not that long ago. They've redone Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask for 3DS. Again, not that long ago, although we're kind of pushing that now. I don't know. I think they've kind of re-upped all of the others and kind of left this one behind. So I'm happy to see it again, and I'm happy to see it looking like it plays better, like a lot better.
Yes.
And as it should be. I mean, it just looks beautiful. Personally, for me now, my two favorite Game Boy Color games of all time, The Legend of Zelda. The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons.
Ocarina of Time, best Game Boy Color game ever.
There we go. Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages, in no particular order. Those are my top two favorite
Nice.
Game Boy Color games. And if they were to have a remake, that is a day zero purchase for me. I do think I still have Link's Awakening in my top 5 for my favorite Game Boy Color games, but like I don't know. It's tough. Again, with my pre-order shopping spree, and I don't know. But I think that it's important for Nintendo to have this sort of remake anyway, because it just goes to show that you can bring. I mean, this is like the true definition of bringing nostalgia into a totally new level. We always talk about how Nintendo is able to they're really good with bringing the characters from in the past and then giving them a fresh look in the present, and then saving them for the future. And I think with Link's Awakening, they definitely did just that. And yeah, like I said, I'm gonna have to think about this for a while, and I'll get back to you guys if I'm gonna pre-order or not. But for now, I'm not. Not right now.
Yeah, I went ahead and pre-ordered it just because I want to play this game. It was a little eyebrow raising that a remake of a Game Boy Color game is $60 in this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it is pretty enough and well done enough that I can justify that. So I went ahead. Now we can. I hate to keep doing this. We got to move forward. I love everything that we've talked about, but this last one. And I say last. This is not the last thing we're going to talk about, but this next one is the last thing they showed in the Direct. Probably, all things considered, probably the biggest announcement from the show, and another point on my my happy list for E3. So, oh man, who wants to take this one?
I am not worthy of taking it.
Me either.
Let me ask this question: Who here has completed Breath of the Wild?
Oh no! I knew that might have been coming. I was seeing that train.
Darren is my only hope here. Darren, have you played?
I have. I've beaten.
All right,
the game.
Darren, you take it. You are worthy.
Wait a second. Are you telling me that Kevin, you haven't finished Breath of the Wild?
Neither Kevin nor Sergio have.
Okay, hold on. Let me just say this. I'm currently on.
I'm on a podcast. I'm on a Nintendo podcast with these people. I just want to make this clear.
Hold on.
Wow.
I finished 2 Divine Beasts. I'm on the 3rd one. And I've met Mifa, I've met Rivali, I've met Daruk, I've met Urbosa. Now I was going to enter the big giant elephant thingamabobber, but
I'm hearing a lot of excuses right now. I really
now
am.
you're hearing a lot of legitimate reasons. That's what you're hearing. But
I'm hearing a lot of excuses.
You could just go beat Ganon now. Like, come on, just go on in there and give it a shot.
Technically, I could. Now, I could have gone inside the giant desert elephant thingamabobber. Forgot what it looks like, but
It's definitely a camel, man.
A camel. Sorry, camel. See, this is why I haven't finished the game.
All right. I'm gonna kill it. Darren, take us away. What did we see at the end of the Nintendo Direct?
Well, we saw, a trailer rendered in the Breath of the Wild engine, and I think we all were probably thinking, oh, okay, maybe some DLC. This is interesting, new adventure,
right.
Whatever. And at the very end of that trailer, we see that the sequel to Breath of the Wild, like an entirely new game, in the Breath of the Wild world is coming. And I mean, Daryl, how floored were you?
So I will say I did not expect this at all. at all. And, it's always kind of it's always kind of been in the back of my mind. With Ocarina of Time, they did Majora's Mask using actually the same characters again to save time and put out a sequel, as soon as possible. And it kind of was in the back of my mind, maybe they do something like that with Breath of the Wild. This felt way too early for me. I did not expect it at all. It's got a new character models for Zelda and Link.
Yes.
Zelda sporting the short hair, so hey, there's a lot
Will
of
she
speculation.
be playable?
There's a lot of speculation she's going to be playable based on her hair length, which is hilarious. And so it shows them exploring these underground ruins, presumably underneath Hyrule Castle, and coming upon what looks like a fairly gruesome corpse-like body of what I can only say has to be Ganondorf. Has to be. Which he was not in Breath of the Wild. Spoilers, sorry, not really. And the implications that he could bring to that world are enormous. Also, they've stated it's in the same Hyrule. Quote, this world is the same Hyrule. People are saying, oh, it's the same overworld. I don't think it means that, because at the end of the trailer, you see the castle start coming out of the ground. I think at the very least, the world is going to be significantly changed.
Right.
At most, it's going to be something like you're exploring the underworlds of places, or there's a dark world, or you're in a flying castle, or what have you. I think what they're actually trying to say is these are the same characters. And for a game that I thought the characters were actually really strong in, that excites me to no end.
Yes.
I think Breath of the Wild might be the best video game I have ever played, so to see a sequel coming, love it.
Yeah, this definitely goes one step beyond the Majora's Mask, you know what I mean, where that game used some of the same characters for sure, but, I feel like we didn't get necessarily like a direct sequel to the story, right? And this seems to be like, the direct follow-up maybe a few years later, whatever. And I agree with you. I think that the landscape is going to be very different. I'm kind of in, I imagine they just had a ton of ideas that they wanted to put in Breath of the Wild, maybe even in DLC, and it just kind of kept growing and growing to the point where they're like, you know what, this is enough to be a new game. Maybe we get like some sort of like multiplayer where, two people, one's controlling Zelda, one's controlling Link. I mean, that would be crazy for a Zelda game.
It's very possible at this point. So, and I'm going to swing back to his credit. Our good friend Kevin has been kind of replaying through Breath of the Wild fairly recently. So definitely give you props on that. Sergio, get on that. Serious.
I just felt really bad given my history with playing this game, just because I was so into it. But then I guess for me, in the very beginning, I just felt bogged down by the world and just going from shrine to shrine. The completionist in me really got to me, trying to go to all the shrines and just very adamant on exploring every bit of land. and I think that was why I took a pause, a longer pause than I needed to, and then games like Mario Kart 8,
you should definitely take a more of an approach of following the beacons and just seeing what's around you. Go explore some cool stuff. Do not try to explore every inch of that world. That's there are people who are doing it. My wife is one of them, but oh man, do not.
I took a long time to beat the game, like a year basically, and a lot of it involved okay, I'm gonna go to this point on the map, and then I never make it because I'm just zigzagging
rock
through.
Looks really
these other
cool.
areas. Yeah.
Oh, what's over there? Oh, so after I beat the game, the DLC came out, and I started playing the DLC, and I was like, oh, well, this is cool. They've got new stuff in the world, and in the meantime, I started collecting a lot of the shrines I had missed and stuff, because I did not try to 100% this game at all. And this is months after I beat the game, and I discovered a new village, and I'm like, oh, what the?
Whoa!
Wait, really? Yeah, just so there's so much stuff in that game, and it's built around just the experiences of playing the game your own way, whatever you want. I would very much say if you don't find everything, it's not important. It's really not. The game is not terribly difficult, so it's not even really gated all that much. Just play the game and play it as a video game. Just go have fun.
Yeah, and I'm expecting at the very earliest this sequel to be in 2021. So I will try to beat the original, but with Animal Crossing coming out next year, probably won't.
Yeah, we're losing Sergio. So this, Darren, you don't know this. This is actually your audition to be the permanent third host of the Nintendo Jump podcast. So congratulations. Wow. I'd say so far you're doing it. So. Anyways, no, I think so. I watched the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer way too many times, and basically came to the conclusion you really can't tell what's going on in that trailer. So, it's really cool. I'm really glad to see kind of a darker tone. For whatever reason, that's not generally my alignment, but it's cool to see in this game for whatever reason. Really happy to see the characters come back. So, awesome. With that, I think we're going to move to our final 2 listener voice submissions. So, again, we're going to have 2 back to back, and we'll see you on the other side.
Hello, it's insert shy guy's name here, talking about Nintendo's E3. I mean, objectively, I thought it was a pretty solid show. That thought the pacing was good, had a wide variety of games. We had tons of surprises in there. Just like to say, I almost perfectly nailed that Animal Crossing prediction. Sorry, Animal Crossing fans, but I hope the wait is worth your while. And that banjo reveal, that was perfect. But for that to not even be the big final announcement, Breath of the Wild 2, I'm coming back for you, Pond. I mean, how huge is that? That being said, personally for me, it was awfully boring. I play a pretty narrow variety of games. I don't really play RPGs. I don't play shooters. I don't play anything with photorealistic violence. And so a lot of that show, I was sitting there going, nope, not for me. But that doesn't mean it was a bad show. It just means it wasn't for me. I do like the extra details about Pokemon. It might be the first time I ever play a Pokemon game. I'm happy to hear the reversal in Mario Maker 2. Still super excited about that game. And hey, the E3 sale, I grabbed Unravel 2 for $10. Pretty excited about that. But overall, looking at the chat, I'm happy for everybody. Everyone seemed pretty hyped, and I'm glad it was a good show overall. And it's just a fun time to be a Nintendo fan. Compare that to where we were about 3 years ago. I mean, things have really turned around. So overall, great show. Good job, Nintendo.
Hey, NJB crew, it's Monty. And oh my God, E3! No, okay, now that I got that out of the way. There's so much I want to talk about. Animal Crossing was amazing. Just a little bit I saw the Treehouse, Luigi's Mansion 3. I am so happy that the Scare-Scraper, having 8-player multiplayer, online multiplayer, they brought it back. Luigi, it looks amazing. So many JRPGs. So many. I'm going to be set for the Switch's lifespan at this point. No More Heroes 3 looks cool. I'm not into the series. Witcher 3. Final Fantasy 8. Remastered. Actually, I think that came from Square Enix. Fire Emblem 3 Houses look cool. What else did they highlight? I can't even remember, but oh man, I'm just so excited for everything coming out. You know what? 2019 is the year of Nintendo. E3, like everyone in E3 is just waiting for 2020. I'm kind of happy to just have this year just to focus on my Switch. Just want to give a little shout out to my friends Kevin, Sergio, and Daryl. Hope you all have a good time. Thank you.
Oh, shout out to you, Monty. So, man, he sounds a lot like I did right after the presentation. Just like, man, there was this and that, and oh my God. So, and also I liked having those 2 back to back. So shout out to Shy Guy and Llama for basically going through two very different paths and still coming up to, hey, Nintendo had a great show. And
Right.
Shy Guy kind of went there. You know, a lot of this may not be for me specifically because of reasons. I get it. I totally get it. And then Monty goes, everything's for me, you know? So, but I think unequivocally, Nintendo had a really, really good show. Like a really, really good show. Maybe their best E3 ever. One of them. I don't know that I want to say that too far, but it was a very good show. And we're not quite done yet. So I want to talk a little bit about Astral Chain. So new action game coming out from Platinum Games, the developers of games like Wonderful 101 and Star Fox Zero and Bayonetta and a bunch of others. Went into this conference not really expecting anything about that game. Looked really cool to me. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. It looks really cool. It's very intriguing, more so than I expected. It's something that I would want to play if there weren't so many other big releases for the rest of the
enough.
year.
Yeah.
But it's looking really good. It's looking way better than I expected.
Yeah, every time I see this game, I just think it looks really cool. You know, I'm really interested in actually, you know, getting like a hands-on sort of feel for it. Maybe there will be a demo of some sort, or maybe there is, I don't know. But if there is one, that would be great. You know, I'm actually, with this trailer that was shown in the Direct, I thought the story seemed very intriguing. Like this, it just seemed like there was a deeper story there, something going on between the actual person and their, you know, counterpart. So I'm pretty interested just based on that.
Yeah, I kind of went through that same progression. And so Platinum made Wonderful 101, which I always kind of said felt kind of like a Saturday morning cartoon. This kind of felt more to me like the shows I watched in like middle school. You know, slightly older, slightly grittier, but still kind of in that same mindset. And I like that feeling. So, you know, it was cool to see.
Yeah, you know, the one thing that got to me with Astral Chain was just the character models. Like I love the style, the eyes, the hair. I mean, and as you said, it just as if you're watching something, but you're actually interacting with the characters. I mean, it's very, to me, it's like, I don't know if this is a term, but anime cinematic. I don't know, like the characters in the game, they're very, each of them feel like they've gone through a hardened experience in life, and then just the modeling, the shadows of each of the characters. I mean, my wallet's gonna be really sad by all this. But
speaking of wallets being very sad, Collection of Mana and Trials of Mana.
No, okay, I'm gonna speak on that. I'm gonna speak on that right now. But before I do, I just want to give a shout out to our other people who have submitted voices. You know,
well, we can do that at the end. At the end. Yeah, I was gonna do that.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind. Okay. All right. Back in the show. So, Collection of Mana, or Mana. I don't know how.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Because I was thinking like Magic the Gathering. You know, like
it's pronounced Pokemon.
Okay. Anyway.
That's a callback.
There we go. So Collection of Mana. I was excited to see that the sequel to Secret of Mana came to the West. What I did not like was the price point for the 3 games together. $40. I don't know, man. I just I cannot justify it right now. If it were 30, even 35, I would go with 35, and that's just being very nice. Like I know it's a $5 difference, and you guys might think, oh well, Kevin's only $5, but you know, this is like,
it's the principle of the thing, man.
Exactly, and I feel like they're trying to justify that. Oh well, you didn't get Trials of Mana until now, so we're gonna, you know, bump it up to a higher price. And okay, fine, I get that.
But the weird thing is, they're also showing off this like 3D remaster of Trials of Mana. Like
exactly,
like they're showing this at the same time. So I'm just like, well, you know, what are you trying to get me to do here? Because you know, Final Fantasy Adventure is great. It's a Game Boy game. It's great.
Yeah.
Secret of Mana is on a Super Nintendo Classic with a bunch of other games already. So, you know, I don't really need that. So the only thing I would really be trying to get this game for is the third one, which you're telling me you're also remaking. So, I don't know. 40 was too high for me.
Yeah, and you know, I have a coworker friend. Shout out to James. He told me how good the sequel, or excuse me, Trials of Mana is, and I'm like, gosh, but I'm gonna hold off for now. With my pre-order shopping spree.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm mildly like excited. I honestly I've never played Secret of Mana, so I was, it's kind of something I've always wanted to play, though I don't know if I'll spend that much on it. I have a list, of games that I'm like, yes, I'm absolutely going to buy day one. And then I also have a list of like games that like, you know what, I'm going to wait until this goes on sale. Yep. This is kind of one of those games for me.
Yep. And it is too. And when it does go on sale, because it'll eventually be $20, I will pick it up at that point, and I'll be happy. I don't need it right now. And so Collection of Mana did shadow drop during the presentation, so it's out now. I'm not gonna buy it right now because I bought a different game. We can briefly talk about that in a second. And then finally to wrap up our quote unquote big hitters.
Finally.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I saved this for last for a reason. Kevin, kick us off.
Okay, you know what, man? I said this one thing in the Discord community, and it was even in the back of my mind too. I just did not believe that Final Fantasy VIII would be coming back in a new iteration unless they reverse engineer one of the previous iterations of the game from a different console. But when I saw the trailer, when I saw the footage, I just, man, my fingers were moving, my legs were shaking. I got up, I walked 10 feet away from where I was sitting, and it felt like the world was coming at me like a, hey, guess what? You're wrong. You're wrong, Kev. It's here. And I'm like, well, hold on. I might not be wrong if they reverse engineered it from a previous iteration, so we'll see. But I'm so glad that they're going to have a Final Fantasy VIII HD remastered. I mean, goodness gracious, like, that is awesome. And but I don't know if I'm gonna get it yet. I don't know.
Wow. It's okay to be happy about a game being on the system that you don't maybe need to play again. I get it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have not had the chance to play this game, and a lot of people have heard you talk endlessly about it, to the point that they are going to pick it up if they listen to us. And everybody's been asking for all of the Final Fantasy games, so I love seeing another one come. I'm still hoping for 1 through 6 at some point as well.
Please.
And then that would be awesome if we all of a sudden had 1 through 10 available, plus also 10, 2, and 12. That'd be great.
Yeah, it would be. And but I am very happy about it. And but there is one other game that was showcased, and I'm gonna have Sergio take this away. What is that game that they showed?
So the other big reveal overall in several parts of E3 is Final Fantasy VII Remake. Finally coming out March 2020. Another one of those.
But not to Switch.
Can't wait to play that on the Switch, right?
Yes, first on PS4. Correct.
It looks awesome. I really actually would like it on Switch. It looks
incredible.
Great. Yeah. So.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It is, and I hate to say this, but I think I'm gonna get it for the PS4. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I don't
Yeah,
mind.
I think you have to.
Cloud is in Smash.
Yeah,
It's okay. You're covered under the Nintendo umbrella here.
Okay, cool. I think I have to because I can't wait for this game. Just watching the footage again and again, and I mean, the boss battle, like just in different iterations of the forms, and then hiding behind this mini wall thing that I can't even say that I'm trying to describe, and just the voicing too. I really liked it.
Oh yes.
Well, they said they're doing like episodic releases, so I wonder how many times we're gonna get charged $60 for one game. You know what I mean?
Well, they're trying to charge us $40 for the Mana Collection, so get ready. Open it up, Kevin.
And you know what? That's a very good point, Darren, because that is the one thing that is making me hesitate from pre-ordering right now, because the story of Midgar is comprised of 5 to 10% of the entire game. Now, I don't know how much they're going to put into this first episode of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
It's going to be 1/7. It's going to be 7 parts.
Oh no!
that'd be fantastic.
Oh my goodness!
I would love that. Oh man.
Now
Anyways,
it's $60.
I think the takeaway is it looks better than anyone really expected it to.
Yes.
It looks really, really good. Hopefully they don't utterly kill people's wallets, but we'll find out. And with that, we actually got through our big hitter list. I'm gonna leave it open to you guys. Obviously we are not going to hit everything that they showed. It's crazy. This was a crazy year. Let's start with Sergio. Do you have, a couple more things, just quick hitters that you were kind of interested in?
I'm curious about the new what's the name? New Super Lucky's Tale.
Oh, okay.
Previously on the Xbox One, and it looks like a return to form to N64 era platformers. Cutesy looking little fox character, but the gameplay looks pretty solid. It's new and revised from the Xbox game, coming to Switch later this year. It's looking good. It looks like low-key, something to look forward to.
Yeah, I kind of had a good opinion of that too. Then Darren, I mean, you got something else you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, there's a few games that I'm excited about. Marvel Ultimate Alliance, actually.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a fun co-op game to play online and stuff.
So I did not bring that up, even though I'm very excited about that game, just because we kind of already knew what it was.
Yeah.
And they didn't really show much new about it. This is a Koei Tecmo brawler in the Marvel Ultimate Alliance style, and it looks great to me. Online play, I will get it. We will play together, my friend.
Excellent. Yeah, and so Ni no Kuni, I thought, was like a really surprise... small surprise announcement there. I've been eyeing that game, hoping that it would come to Switch because it just seemed like a perfect fit.
Yes.
So now it is. That's great. And then finally, the Mario and Sonic at the Tokyo Olympic Games, because another Mario game with a bunch of like mini sports games. I'm in.
Luigi is probably in.
And Luigi will be my character, of course. Yes.
So I gotta say, during one of the generic jazz music, which was actually pretty good, but one of those breaks in the Treehouse segment, they were showing this game, and they were showing Mario and Sonic like karate dueling. And I said that wrong. It was actually Mario and Peach, and that just looked wrong because Mario was just like straight up punching Peach. I'm like, no, we've gone too far with this one. Anyways, so those games are surprisingly fun, but the old ones kind of relied too much on controller gimmicks, motion controls, things like that. Even the Wii U one did a lot, and it kind of brought the games down. I'm kind of hoping that the Switch being a more normal controller, we just get some fun mini games. That'd be
that'd be great.
Nice to see.
Sweet. I really liked how you mentioned Ni no Kuni, Darren, because that is one of my favorite games on the PS3.
Oh, nice.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I did not finish all the post-game stuff, but I mean, man, like I loved this so much. I made a Lego model out of the fairy from that game, and although I don't have it anymore, I do have a picture somewhere. But it was one of my favorite things to build, and it was an example of what a modern RPG should be. When you have your monsters and being able to move around and actually dodge attacks, in real-time combat. Like, it was just a very good, solid, very good game, and I'm really happy that it's going to be on the Switch. I would like to give a shout out to The Witcher 3. Now, I have not played it, but I heard a lot about how good the game is. I'm glad it's going to be on the Switch. That's all I got for that. And I'm going to mention Project Scarlet from Microsoft. Now, for me, I'm always curious about, the next level tech. It's a bunch of numbers. I mean, you're talking about, 8K visuals and up to 120 frames per second. And they really emphasize the loading times for some reason. I mean, that was like one of the biggest things they talked about during that video. Loading times are short, or whatever. But, I'm just curious about how it would look on the big screen. And I just want to see it for myself. I mean, we can talk about numbers, but I'm a very visual person, and I just want to see.
Yeah, that was like the boringest console announcement I think I've ever seen.
It was. for sure. But then
it's cool to see a new thing coming out, but man, I don't really care that much about those specs, you know?
Yeah, it's tough to really, connect words with, just to understand the words that are coming out with the numbers. But then until you can see it, I just gotta see it. And but it's important for companies like Microsoft to be able to have this in development. I mean, that's how they push other companies to do better, like Sony with the PS5. And I mean, yeah, even though they didn't have a presence in the E3 showcase, I do want to see what they're gonna do. So, Sony, let's see what you got. And one other thing I do want to mention, Spyro. I mean, that is awesome. Like, I'm glad that Spyro has a presence in E3. It was always one of those characters that I felt like people didn't really talk about as much, at least in my circle. And yeah, I'm just glad to see that they're making games for that. And whew, man, there's quite a lot. But yeah, I mean, that's all I got for that.
Yeah, I loved the Spyro games, to be honest. Then a couple for me. So you guys actually touched on a few of them. One, I said at the start of the show I got 2.5 of my happy list. The 0.5 was the Crystal Chronicles release date, which they came out with winter, which one is not a release date. It's not a release date, and two is technically a delay from the 2019 one. So not the best, but at least they're talking about the game, so we're okay.
We're getting there.
We're getting closer, so it's coming at some point, hopefully. We're closer than we've ever been. And then I was really happy to see the Contra collection shadow drop. I did not pick it up yet. I plan to own it at some point, but I did not pick it up because I bought Cadence of Hyrule, which also kind of shadow dropped. It released today. Haven't played it very much. I know we will talk about it later because at least two of us got it. Sergio, you get it too? All right, so all three of us got it. So we will talk about Cadence of Hyrule later on. And
that's right. I got it too.
Yeah.
I got 3.
And we have completely missed talking about Hollow Knight Silk Song, which looks fantastic, and Daemon X Machina, which looks neat. Probably not my style, but I know a lot of people are hyped about it. And probably a ton of other games. I'm sorry if we missed your favorite games, but man, there was just a wealth.
Thought the trailer for No More Heroes 3 was pretty cool.
Yeah. Man, what a good show.
It's always nice to just. I mean, we live in a day and age where it's very accessible to watch all of this content on YouTube, and I guess shout out to YouTube, because if it weren't for YouTube, we wouldn't be able to watch this, or I guess Twitch too. Okay, fine, both of them. And I just, I just have this thing of watching Treehouse Lives like just as much as I can until I get tired of it. And I mean, it's probably my favorite thing about being a part of E3 from my very own place, like just sitting at home and just watching all the content. Or I mean, it just gets you very excited, and I don't know, and that's why I pre-ordered 4 games this week.
I did something like that.
Yeah.
No, E3 is the best week of the year as a gamer, and for me personally, yeah, for sure. Controversy, here we go. I think it's a little disrespectful for Sony to completely dismiss it like that. Come on, guys, we missed you.
I'm a little mixed about that, because
I did not miss them.
I could understand them missing E3. What I don't understand is why they don't have PSX. Now, PSX is, I think, their best showcasing of their games and stuff. Now, I've been to E3 and PSX personally, at least 2 times for each. And in terms of the experience and the swag and the, being able to interact with different people, like I met Tim Schafer, one of my favorite video game developers of all time, and the Uncharted crew from PSX, and I met Charles Martinet at the last E3 I went to, voice of Mario. I just wish that
and Luigi.
Oh, I apologize. And
No
Luigi.
He's a little testy. You got to be careful.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna take back everything I said and say Charles Martinet is the voice of Luigi.
Thank you.
And Mario.
There we go. That's more like it.
I did say he's the head of the fan club. I mean, it's we got like a PETA situation in here, man.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I don't know what this is.
No, but you know what? Yeah, I don't know. I feel I don't get why Sony decided to miss it. And just one last thing, shout out to Microsoft because they were so united with everyone. They on their Twitter they would share the conference times of everyone, including
that was
Nintendo.
cool. That was
So
cool.
when you see Microsoft doing that and Sony just not showing up, I don't know. I feel like I want to see unity. I want to see everyone together.
Yeah, and it's tough because I don't know if they're gonna have a PSX this year. I mean, there hasn't been any news as far as I'm concerned. They didn't have one last year, I believe.
Right.
And it's very disappointing because I feel like Sony can just be able to they should figure out a way to have a better relationship with Nintendo and Microsoft. I mean, this is not the 90s anymore. We're not fighting and it's not the Sega and Nintendo wars. I mean, this is more about collaboration and pushing each other to get better. For, like you said, Sergio, more of a unity, and I think that's always important. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's important to have healthy competition between different companies with different consoles, but to have those collaborations is vital. So.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think we grew up in an age where we didn't have like online access and we weren't able to like really play games with friends, but that's totally different now. You know what I mean? Like these games that are cross-platform, it should be an absolute like it's just essential that you should be able to play these games no matter what system you are on. Like period. Like that's the world we live in now. It's connected.
The one thing I'll say is we're moving in the direction where that type of behavior is not going to be acceptable, I think. So I think we're going to see some changes one way or another, but that is time for that's another E3 discussion, I think. Yeah. So final thoughts. I mean, we kind of started with it. Loved the show personally. What'd you guys think?
Loved the whole week. Loved the week. E3 as a whole week. Not the direct so much. Overall, even if Animal Crossing wasn't in it, very good E3. But since Animal Crossing is in it, honestly, I don't even care about next E3. I'm going to be very busy by then.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great show for Nintendo. I was mainly watching for Nintendo. I thought the direct was really good. A lot of games, but they talked about Smash quite a bit. I was very excited about that. Of course, the Breath of the Wild thing. I mean, I just think that they in this new Switch generation, they seem to know their audience a little bit better. They seem to really lean into this idea of like throwing in those surprises and really making them count. And I'm on the train, man. I'm on it.
Yeah, it's the Treehouse Live, the Final Fantasy VII Remake vids. I mean, those are my two biggest ones and for me, I always love watching the Treehouse Live videos. I mean, just getting to detail from a developer's point of view, from the product manager's point of view, just for them to talk about the game in the way they do. It's just always exciting for me, and I echo what the same sentiments for what Sergio said. Like this is like one of the best weeks of the year for sure. And I would actually take that a step further and say that it's nice to be at home and watch all this content than to actually be at E3. And I know there might be some comments about that. I say that because as of late, E3 has been very tough to get into the lines you want to get in to play the games because you're going to wait for hours and it can be a bit of a grind. But I do recommend anyone who has a chance to go to E3, go at least once. And then after that, flip a coin. If you go at least once, you're good. I went twice, especially before it was made public. I felt like once it got more public, which is not a bad thing, the lines get super long. I've heard lines of like 3 hours get cut off after like people rushing to get into the thing. Even when they showed Breath of the Wild, they didn't even talk about the Switch yet, but the line was cut off even before I had a chance to get into the line. And it was like a 3-hour wait on top of that. So, for those who may not have gone to E3 this year, don't feel too bad. It's actually, for me personally, it's better to watch it from home. So, but
fair enough.
That's my experience. And great impression. You know, a solid A overall for me. So.
Yep, I'm about there too. So real quick, I want to give definite shout outs to everybody who sent in a voice submission. I thought that was really good. Shout outs to Coconut, Napping Rat, Dragon, Beckzilla, and Shy Guy, and Monty. Thank you all for sending that in. And a huge shout out to Darren, my friend Peachy. Thanks for joining us. You know, I hope this was fun for you. It was a lot of fun for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys again. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully we'll get another chance to do this in the future.
Yeah, and definitely give a listen to the Pop Shield podcast. It's a lot of fun too. So I very much wanted to start with the welcome that Gabe does, but can't do that. So,
yeah, definitely thank you, Darren, for being here. I do appreciate your fandom for Luigi. That is very admirable.
He needs
It's a tough job. It's a tough job.
But
it was a little rough for a few years there, but now we're back. The year of Luigi was a really bad year. Just rough. All right. I mean, I think that's it. Sergio, you want to wrap us?
Yeah, it is time to jump out of here. So thank you so much for listening. If you would like to chat with us and with an awesome Nintendo gaming community, you can join our Discord group. The description for this episode has a link to it if you would like to join. You can also follow us on social media. We are on Twitter and on Instagram as Nintendo Jump, and we also have a Facebook group. Our episodes are on YouTube. Feel free to leave us a comment about your favorite parts of this year's E3 or anything that you would want us to discuss in an upcoming episode. You can send us your feedback via any social media or via email at NintendoJumpPodcast@gmail.com. If you want to support the show, the best way to do so is through our Patreon. That's patreon.com/NintendoJump. And another way to support is by leaving a review on your podcast application of choice. We would really appreciate it. This is Sergio, and on behalf of Peachy, Daryl, and Kevin, thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.
Hey, see you guys.
So long.
And anyone who selected Final Fantasy VII in the song pool, you can collect your winnings at the front window. Wow, he's still going.
I mean, this is pretty good. I'm in.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was good.